Hi, today I want to share with you how to use multiple tables in Tableau, how to create joins, and how to do some of the data manipulations. For this exercise, I have downloaded Adventure Works database from codeplex.com. I have done some manipulations in the data after converting it into Excel. You can see my Excel sheet and you can see that I have taken all the data from AdventureWorks and combined it into one Excel sheet so that I can use this Excel as a data source in my Tableau. Now I will go to Tableau and I have created a new file in Tableau desktop. From here I will connect to data. So once I will connect to data, it's going to ask me what type of data source I want to connect to. If you're using a trial version of the software, you can only use in a file data source. But if you have a valid license of Tableau, you can use any other data sources. Also, since my data source is in Microsoft Excel, I will use the Microsoft Excel data source. So I will click on it, and once I click on it, it takes me to select my data source. So I select my data source which I have downloaded from AdventureWorks, and I will open it. Tableau allows you to choose a single table or a multiple table, or you can write a custom SQL as well. Even if you have to choose multiple table, you will start after choosing a single table, which will normally will be your fact table. So in this database, I have a fact table called sales order header. I will select that, and now I will be able to choose other tables. So now I go to multiple tables, and now I can say add table. So now I have all these list of tables which I can add and join with my existing sales order header. So the other table I want to use it is sales order details. I click on that, it will give me list of fields which I can use. If I don't want any field, I can always uncheck that. But for this exercise, I will keep it checked. And then I can check my joins, that how it is joining. In Tableau, joins are automatically made based on the common field names, but you can always modify your joins by using this window. If you want to change any join, you can change. But for this table, it looks like this join is correct, so I will select that join and the table. Now I can choose another table. So my other table for this exercise will be product. So I will choose that table and I will check the join. And right now it is showing me that it is joined with sales order header on modified date. But I know that this join is incorrect. So I will delete this join, and instead I will use sales order details table. And I can see that sales order details and product table join on product ID. So I will select the join and say add. You can select what type of join you want to do. You can do an inner join, you can do left or right. For this one I will use inner join. I will say okay here. Then similarly I can choose other tables. So I will choose one more table here, which is individual customers. I will click on it, check my fields and check my join. Here I can see that it is joining it correctly because it is joining with sales order header customer ID equals to individual customer dot customer ID. So I will select that join and say OK. Here you can change the name of the connection. So I will change the name of the connection here and say Tableau Adventure Works data. I will just put it data 1 just for the sake of it. I will say OK here, and now it will it is asking me how can I connect to the data. In Tableau, you can connect your data in three ways. You can connect live so that you can be connected to your database always. You can import all the data, which will create an extract, which will be a TDE file and it will reside on your machine. Or you can import some of the data which will be a filtered data. For this exercise, I will say connect live. So once I have created my data source, you can see that I have all these items here. I have individual customer, I have product, sales order and sales order header. And Tableau is very good in a sense that it divides the data, it segregates the data in dimensions and measures. So it has automatically done this work for you, that from all your tables it is selected the measures and also it has segregated the dimensions separately. You can always change these if you don't like the default behavior of it. So I will just check my sales order header and see that if everything looks okay. I will check my sales order details that everything is fine. I will open the product table and see here. So in this one I have in my database hierarchy, which is based on product name and also on subcategory and category. So since this is a hierarchy, I can create an hierarchy in Tableau so that it will behave just like a database hierarchy, and you can do drill down and drill up on that. So to create a hierarchy, I will just click on product name. I will right click on it and say create hierarchy. It will give me a name of the hierarchy. To choose a name, I will choose product and I will say okay, and this is my hierarchy. So to add other items to this hierarchy, all I have to do, I have to drag and drop other items to it. So I can just drag and drop my hierarchy items to this hierarchy, product hierarchy I have created. Let me try once more. Somehow it is not allowing me to add to the existing hierarchy, so I need to check it on that. So I mean, here it is. What I did, I just right clicked on it and said add to hierarchy, and it has added me whichever hierarchy I selected. So once that is created, I can again see that if I want to rename any column, if all the column names look correct. Here I see that that customer name is in first name, last name and middle name. So if I want, I can create one customer name and combine first name and last name in that. So this will also be a good example of creating and calculated column initially in your data source. So I will right click, I will select a name, right click and say create a calculated field. In the calculated field, I can just say the name of the field, which will be customer name, and then I can just say add concatenate the two. So the way we can do that is to use first name and this syntax, and now I can take the last name. I can select customer's last name and just double click on it and it's going to come there. And now you can see that customer name will be a calculated column which I have created. If you drag and drop this on the rows column, you will see the names of the customer. Now you have complete name of the customer. So this is how you do some of the data manipulations. Like if you don't like any name of the column, or if you want to give a user friendly name of the column, you can always right click on it, say rename, and you can change the name of the field. So you can check all the fields and see that whether it is names are correct, names are user friendly, whether they are in dimensions they are correct or not. So in this one you can see that individual customer dot customer ID, we don't need this ID because we won't be using it. It just came as a part of the table, and since it is an ID, Tableau thinks that it can be a measure, so we can hide this. Similarly, we can open other things and see that these things look okay to me. I can hide this ID also because I don't need this. This was only used for um, to create a join. I can come here and see other things, and if I don't need certain things, I can hide them always, or I can delete them also. So this is how you create a simple Tableau data source. You can do data manipulation also, and you can use also some of the fields. So if I want to use if to create a simple dashboard, simple view in my sheet, I can always use my customer name which I have just now created. I can drop it on the rows, then I can use my some of my measure, in the source header I have something like total due. I can select this, and Tableau will automatically create an aggregation for this. It shows some of the customers are null, or they don't have any data to it, blank, so I can always exclude them. So now you have a very basic visualization in which you have customer name and you have total due with those customers. And in Tableau, it is a good practice when you are creating a data source that you can you put a basic aggregation on that how you want it to be aggregated default. So you can right click on it and you can select the aggregation type. So you do this by clicking on the default properties and select the aggregation. So it is showing some that should be okay to you. If you want to create some number format, you can do that, currency, and then every time you are going to select the data element is going to show you that format. So this is also one way of data manipulation in Tableau. So here we have learned that how to select multiple tables in Tableau, how to do joins, and how to do some of the basic manipulations. Let me know if you have any questions.